It is Grandma's story time, boys and girls, or in this case, Pastor Daryl and Pastor Lori. Sit down and relax. It's time to listen.
Once upon a time there was a poor dirt farmer. He and his wife lived in a little shack of a house in the middle of nowhere. They went to church on Sunday and prayed for good crops and maybe a family, but neither one seemed to happen to have them.
But they were faithful to God, and eventually God took pity on their situation and sent an angel down to see them.
So this angel, let's call her Sarah, tells the farmer that she'll grant the farmer 3 of his heart's desires, 3 wishes, but with a catch. Whatever he wished for, his neighbor on the next quarter would receive double whatever he and his wife would receive. So the man talked it over with his wife, and they slept on it. And in the morning they called out to the heavens, and Sarah appeared.
We would like 1,000 head of cattle and the matching facilities to match them. This land isn't really good enough to grow row crops, but it could handle a fine herd.
And so it was. The man and his wife looked up in their farm looked absolutely amazing. The completely renovated barns were full of large cattle and the tractors.
There was not going to be a debate between red or green, for both were sitting there.
The old farm hall, 460, was nowhere to be found.
Thanks.
But then the farmer looked over the valley and saw the huge structure now sitting at his neighbor's house, and his 2,000 cattle slowly grazing.
Nice job.
And yes, some jealousy filled their heart.
But he looked back at his lady and his operation, and he was happy.
Unlike some stories where the wishes go really quickly, this one doesn't work that way. The farmer and his wife once again started talking about what to do next and decided to take their time in making the right decision.
But it didn't take too long for them to figure it out.
Like a day.
Okay, like a day.
And they decided they wanted to have a baby.
Always a good thing,
Not always an easy thing.
but always a good thing.
So they called Sarah back, and lo and behold, guess what happened some 9 months later?
Right here. They had a baby.
Exactly, but when they went to their church to worship and to thank God the week after the baby was born, they found out that their neighbors had twins born on the same day.
But they were still happy, right?
Mostly.
But it gnawed on the farmer's gut, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And so the farmer's wife contented herself with raising their daughter and helping with the chores on the cattle operation, which was going so very well.
And the farmer looked out over his fields to his neighbor's place and fumed. In time, without consulting his wife, he came to a conclusion.
And he called in Sarah.
And what did he ask for?
Sarah, I want you to gouge out my right eye, the farmer said. That is my final wish. Why have you turned to such dark desires? Sarah asked. With pent-up rage, the farmer replied, I can't stand to see my neighbor prosper. I'll gladly sacrifice half of my vision for the satisfaction of knowing he'll never be able to look out on what he has, because both of his eyes will be gouged out. Okay? With tears forming in her eyes, Sarah the angel responded, Why, O son of man, have you turned an occasion of blessing into a time of hurting? Your third request will not be granted. not because the Lord lacks integrity, but because he is full of mercy. Know this, O foolish one, you've brought sadness, not only to yourself, but to the very heart of God.
So is there a rest to the story?
No.
Oh. So what happened to the farmer and his wife and his cattle and the kid?
Well, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Well, God didn't punish them for being so like bad?
God doesn't work that way.
Well, that's probably a pretty good thing.
It is, PD. It is.